So basically, as Jonathan just said, the contact centre software is developed exclusively for Mytel by a company which is PrairieFyre, which most of you will know because a lot of you are existing customers anyway. The ones that are existing customers, do you all have the contact centre software, or is it just the Mytel voice side of it? All of you? Do you want to put your hands up? Okay, so there's quite a few. Okay, so this is not meant to be a history lesson, it's just meant to show you where we've come from over the last 30 years in terms of, call centres and contact centres. I get a lot of situations where we say, call centre, I'm not a call centre, we're not a call centre, we're not a contact centre. They sort of associate that with volume calls coming in, sales, telemarketing. But over the last 30, back in 1980, the first call centre evolved through the fact that the travel agencies, or the travel industry, and also telephone directories had to put together this type of environment to handle the type of volumes of calls that were coming into them. During the 1990s, due to the fact that technology had become very advanced, the way we can route calls became more advanced and the technology was accessible for businesses like yourself, we found other industries then taking the call centre approach to business. So the drivers weren't just the technology, the drivers came from the fact that us as consumers were very demanding about the customer services we were receiving from businesses like ourselves. We wanted high quality service, and it meant for businesses like yourselves, it was a competitive advantage above other organisations. So over the last 30 years, if you really look back on it, you'll see that voice has been the main media that a lot of your callers will want to call you. That's the media of choice. But things have changed, and they are changing even more and more aggressively, and turning a call centre, which is predominantly voice, into a contact centre. So what's driving the change? Well, the market wants to interact in the way the media choice they want to interact in. So whether it be email, whether it be voice, SMS, web chat, fax. I know that's sort of dying out a bit now, but there are some organisations that have a lot of fax still coming in, which is quite surprising. So we need to, as businesses, we need to adopt the technologies and the solutions to deliver a communication to those callers in the way they want to communicate with you, okay? Multimedia is typically, as I just mentioned, the email, fax, web chat, SMS, and now we're seeing social media is becoming more important to us. Over the last 18 months, I've seen a lot of requests for we need social media, but nobody really understands what they have to, what they need to do with it, why it's going to benefit them if they interact over social media. So a lot of organisations this year, I call it the dipping of the toe into social media to see what benefits it brings to them as a company. So our challenge, whether we be a software developer, a vendor, a partner such as Britannic and yourselves as businesses, we all have to find the right balance between the efficiencies and the service delivery that enables a quality customer experience. And that's what we're all trying to achieve, the best customer service for your caller so that they don't go off to any of your competitors or any other services that are on offer. So today, Mytel can offer multimedia solutions in the email, the web chat, the SMS and fax. At the moment, we can report on everything that comes into your contact centre, whether it be voice, email, web chat, SMS and fax, and also social media. As from November last year, we can also offer social media blending. So let's look at the drivers for social media. Why does this matter to us? It's been talked about for a long, long time, and obviously, as you know, I expect all of you are part of some kind of social media network. The important thing to remember is the two social media, Twitter and Facebook, are the two most commonly used when we're talking about how we can consider interaction with those customers or callers. 73% of Europeans are actually using some form of social media, which means there's 346 million people that are using this as a chosen communication method. So we've got to start thinking about this and how it impacts our business. It's also interesting to know that 20%, and that is growing, of consumers are likely to speak about poor customer experience over this media. If you remember the term, you know, one person, if they have a negative sort of experience, they'll tell 10 more people. You imagine how many more people they're going to be able to tell using a social media website. 67% of consumers actually buy products that they have had recommendation from others using the social media. And 50% of the consumers who complain on social media expect a response from you. And an important thing to remember, we've noticed that you may send out a message to those consumers who've seen a negative feedback about your organisation or some kind of product or service you're offering. Don't make the mistake of responding and say, call our customer service line on whatever number you've got, because they won't contact you. They want you to communicate back to them in the way that they have communicated that complaint. So 83% like or they love getting a response from you. They want that response. And another important stat to remember is Facebook and Twitter. Facebook is more like a response they're expecting is more like an email. With Twitter, they want a more instant response from you. Okay? Is this all right? You're all okay? Are you okay with this? Yeah. Please stop me because I can talk for Wales. What solutions are there? As I said earlier on, we can actually offer solutions for that multimedia contact centre right the way through to voice to social media. We can actually take the calls and blend them into your current resources. Now, what you'll find within your organisations, typically it's marketing that are driving the social media strategy. It's not the IT or the contact centre operational people, it's actually marketing that are holding on to that social media, how we should communicate, okay? Now you'll find that when you do start using social media, you'll find a lot of things that are coming into them are actually customer service type questions that could be going to your normal resources within your contact centre if you are blending that activity. The other thing we need to do is still need reporting, and whether it be real time and historic. We need it on all formats which we can deliver today. But what I wanted to do is actually talk about how we're enhancing that experience for you as a business. Now I know a lot of you have got the contact centre, maybe not all of you are deploying multimedia. So how many people have got email? Yeah, email routing in the multimedia? No? How many SMS? You've got it, but you're not using it. Yeah. Web chat? Yeah. How many people are considering multimedia and the impact? 1, 2. Oh, so there's quite a few. Okay. So what we're doing with the multimedia offering, and this is a bit of a roadmap, so let's make it clear it's not currently available today in terms of these enhancements. But we're actually opening up the application to be able to work within any email environment. So at the moment we work with Exchange. Going down the road a bit, we'll be able to work with any, whether you're Lotus, whether you're Google Mail, etc. Okay, so we're not restricted there. The Multimedia Agent desktop is changing. Now what you'll find is the actual icons that you're used to, the way the real-time monitors, the reporting for multimedia, it will totally change going forward. We're updating everything on that. Web enhancements, I'm going to show you this in a second on a later slide, a Contact Us tab, and I'll show you that in a bit more. Later. Supervisory enhancements, new multimedia reports. At the moment, if you use the multimedia and you've got all these media types enabled, you have to run a separate report for each of the email for agents, email queue performance, etc. You'll be able to combine that all onto a unified queue performance by period report or an agent report. Everything will be on one report, so you don't have to run 5 or 6. There'll be improved routing flexibility within the system. So at the moment you have the emails or any of the media type coming in and it's looking for the longest idle agent. Okay. Once that agent responds, obviously then it's just like a voice call. What we'll be able to do is actually route more intelligently on email address, subject, certain things you can actually define within your routing capability, you'll be able to be far more flexible than we are today. Okay? And that's not a negative, I'm just saying that we are improving things. And then your administration and your maintenance. Who's familiar with the IVR, the Visual Workflow Manager, for your, used to be known as IQ, for your routing, intelligent routing? Yeah? We're putting everything now into a Visio, so even the multimedia will now drop into the Visio, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay? Just making it easier for you as an administrator or a user of the application. Let me just go on to this. So as you can see, the Multimedia Agent desktop, you will have everything in one view. So the agent won't have to pop between screens to see certain media types like they do at the moment, okay? So it'll be all in one. Here, there'll be an action toolbar and summary of those agent stats. The moment if you want to see an agent stat or the agent has to see the stats, you have to either drill down into the QNow monitor or you have to run a historic report. They will be able to see all their stats on all the media types they're enabled to take. Here, action control, so requeue, reply, transfer, and junk mail. That's obviously for the emails that are coming through. Here you will have the ability to see all your media types coming in on the queue. Now you can have a unified queue or you can have the separate queues as you have at the moment. With our applications today, we can offer what we call IVQ, which is Interactive Visual Queue, the ability to drop a call and drag it over to another queue or send it to an agent, or even look at anything that's abandoned, like the voice side of it, the abandoned callers. We will be able to offer this also on the multimedia, so an agent will be able to see everything in that IVQ monitor and be able to pull, and the system can push. Okay? So you will be, as operational people, you will be able to define Jayne Grazette can't multitask. It's no good giving her an email, a voice call, a web chat. She cannot multitask. I just want her to take a call, then another media type, or I want her to drop down 5 emails at one time, and that's the limitation I'm going to put around that. So it's really governed by how you want your agents to work and how skilled they are. Okay?
One question?
Yeah?
Can you see other agents? Can you see other agents from here?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you will be able to. There's a format in the toolbar here where you'll be able to go from your own stats, and then you'll be able to see all the stats of the queues that you're part of in grid and dashboard format, and I'll show you a shot of that as we go through. Okay. Is there any other questions or no? So I've just spoke about the real-time monitoring. There's enhancements for the supervisor. There's also alarm enhancements that are being made. You're aware of the way the alarms work at the moment. What we'll be able to do is the supervisor will be able to look at the monitor, and if an alarm is set off, they'll be able to drill down into that monitor and see the actual, where the alarms are coming from. At the moment you flash on your agent or you flash on your queue, you can get your screen pop, what we call a screen pop toaster with a message on there. You'll be able to do things slightly different, okay, to that, and then actually have the alarm come up and then press it, and it will take you to wherever that alarm is corresponds to. These are the new icons. So this is the monitor, and you'll be able to see we've got Nathan's group, CCM group, Jan test group, agent group there. So that's replicating all the agent groups. But here it's telling me I've got a web chat, I've got social media interaction, I've got fax. Why they've got this as fax? I think that needs reconsidering. But then you've got the voice and you've got the SMS. So everything is in one pane. Do you like the look of these new icons? No, it doesn't mean to say we're taking the old icons away, because you'll be able to have the what I would class as classic view and this view. Okay. And again, your agent toolbar there. So you've got your queue groups, your queues, your agent queue groups, your employees and your agents. So all of those are tabs that you can flash through and see the different information in this format. Does it look good? Now, I think this is really quite useful as an organisation. I'm on your website and you've got a contact us tab over there on the left hand side. If I'm on there too long, this tab will actually open it. Or I can press this tab and I can see all of the media cues that I can make a call to you on, and it will tell me my wait time. It'll tell me how long I have to wait before I get a response. So what I can do is decide, okay, making a call is just going to be too long. I'll just send an email, or I will send an SMS, etc. And it gives you all those stats on the actual website. So I think that's a really neat enhancement. Chat configuration. I know, Alison, you said that you're now deploying web chat. What we will be able to do with the new multimedia, as we call it, the rewrite of multimedia, is be able to have any third-party application, because we're going to be so open in the next release of multimedia. So if you've got a preferred supplier, at the moment you're restricted to what we call a Java applet, and it's restricted to our solution, but you will be able to open it to others if you prefer. So, okay. The other thing, card, obviously PCI, I know that is going to talk about PCI compliance, etc. But the credit card information, I know that, Alison, you've talked about this, haven't you, where you want that PCI compliance in the web chat. That will also be available on the web chat of the next release. So a lot of these features that we're looking at and we're seeing here have actually been given to us in terms of enhancements that you as customers want to see. A lot of the DCRs, or as we call them, TFS, have been sent into us. I wish I could do it. It would make my job much easier, and we do take that seriously. So as you use the application, please don't feel scared to send that information to myself or into your partner. I mentioned this earlier on, the historic reporting. You will have new reports in there, which will obviously combine a lot of the information that you get today. It will be on one report, and I mentioned that earlier on. Am I going too slow or too quick? And this is how they'll look. So your unified queue group, still in the same format they used to today, so you've still got the Excel and the graphical view, but you'll get everything combined and summarised on those reports. I mentioned just now about the IVQ. The actual search engine is going to be a lot more flexible than it is today in terms of searching for, contact information about certain clients and callers that have come in. Agent group presence control, as you know, with the voice you can actually join leave an agent from one queue to another. You'll be able to do the same on the multimedia. And that's a view of the supervisors. So this here, this one, and this one are what you have today. This looks different at the top there, and this is your grading dashboard. You can flip from one to the other. That doesn't mean these icons will be changing, but it doesn't mean to say that we take away everything that you're used to. We give you time to sort of adjust and feel familiar with it. And here we've got the Visual Workflow Manager. So some of you will be familiar with IVR and the way we actually now put all of our routing into this Visio environment. It's the same with the multimedia. The next one to come then will be the ACD agents, groups, etc. That will be the next stage. And everything then will be visible through your Site Explorer on the Visual Workflow Manager. Auto acknowledgements, so you'll be able to filter in terms of the routing on various scenarios there, your email, SMS, to, from, subject, etc. Here, auto acknowledgements, as you do at the moment with your multimedia, and auto acknowledgement showing business hours, etc. The same thing will on every media type. And then we're trying to improve obviously the installation process for you and for the partners, so make it a lot easier. The migration tools that we will have on multimedia, we'll be able to migrate your information, your database over from your old environment into your new environment, which didn't happen with IVR and IQ. And obviously we've learned from that, and that's why we've put this in there. This is a workload descriptor, is where you will actually configure how you offer the media contacts to those agents. So earlier on I said about having 5 email sessions opened up, or I must finish an email before I can take a voice call, etc. You will be able to configure that yourselves and decide how you design that part of your solution. And I think I'm a little bit quicker than expected.
Okay, are there any questions at this point?
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you showed the web page, when you see the waiting times and all that, so to choose which media you're going to use, it's just an overview to choose. My understanding is that that's only an overview. You can't make the call from the website, can you?
My understanding from the developers is you could actually click on some of them. But I mean, email would be easy, web chat, but not the voice part of it, because you need to actually
to make a phone call.
But we've seen this content that's been agreed, and they're working on that at the moment.
Would that be,
I can find out for you and clarify that. Okay.
Would there be a possibility of that being integrated, for example, with Skype?
I'll check. I know they're discussing it, but I will check for you.
I think you'll find as a control to your web browser that would enable you to call directly using Skype. Same applies for mobile phones. A lot of the browser applications also include triggers to help you dial. So if you publish your telephone number on any sort of standard web page, if your client's using that sort of application, they can automatically call you.
I will double check, in terms of the detail behind our enhancements for you, okay?
I'm sure from our perspective we'll be able to, if it's not something that's available today, I'm sure we'll be able to work together to deliver this. We've got, as part of our CTI toolkit, we've got technology that we can drop onto people's websites to actually manage the calling process, bringing it into the contact centre. I think, again, just talking through with customers, when you look at within the contact centre, I think some of the big changes that you can really start to drive improved customer experience and also greater efficiency within operations is using presence and availability. So on the website, you saw there where you could click on it and hover, and you could actually see the different media streams and get information back around time to answer. Again, I think really taking that to the next level is if you have different services that you're providing to customers or different customer segments or groups, then really it's looking at how you personalise that service. So you might have a team of people that support a certain type of product or service. You might have a team of people that maybe look after a certain customer grouping or segment. And again, if you can look back into the organisation and see who's logged on, who's in a queue, what the standard lead times are, then you could actually, it's not a stretch beyond imagination to start to think that you could really start to create a personalised contact and link via a website. So some of the things we've spoken to Trailfinders about in the past is some of the corporate clients, what they wanted to do was to really ensure that as the calls came in, they would actually looking at routing those calls through to the same person all the time. So creating, irrespective of the fact they've got 1,000 call centre agents, they want to create that personalised service experience. So if you could extend that into the website and you can actually look at, this person that you deal with is actually online and ready to take, a call or maybe a web chat or an email, based upon the fact that they're logged in and what their status is. I think these are things that are actually going to start to change how people communicate, and I think for me the big thing with all of this is that you should be delivering that experience and consistency irrespective of the channel that people want to contact you through. And I think that's one of the mistakes that the internet-based banks and organisations made in the past, is that as humans we all we've all got the ability to change our mind when we wake up, right? So it might be one day I've been used to interacting with an organisation via the website and I've been very happy with it, yet there may be a certain thing that today I might want to deal with somebody via email or actually pick the phone up. And if it's too hard to go about doing that, then it's actually a catalyst to change. I think today's environment, it's very easy to move through and find, obviously depending upon the industry that people are in, but find new providers and new suppliers. Google's a great tool for going and finding choice of suppliers out there. So to me, it's about how you bring a consistency of approach to the interactions that you have with customers, irrespective of the channel that you're using, and that whole presence piece that's available through sort of SIP-based technologies is a really great way of bringing that all together and actually taking away the complexity. Is just letting people know, who's available, what channels to use, and taking away the sort of interpretation that people need to make.
Have any of you started thinking about social media and how it's going to affect you and your resources? Have you started any of that at the moment? No? No? Yeah? So how many, just put your hands up, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 5 out of the group. Yeah, it's still, I think, it's gradually going there, but I think a lot of us are scared as businesses as well to sort of delve into this public arena where, we may be seen, especially if there's negative comments, coming from those areas and how we actually respond to them publicly. It is difficult in terms of the culture changes that you're going to be going through, but my mother, she's 80 and she sent me a Facebook request to be a friend. And it's like, oh my God, even my mother's using it now, and she's 80. But anyway, we've got to adopt the technologies and solutions that allow us to communicate with. Really, when you look at it, the youngsters are, they're tweeting and they're SMSing, and that's how they're going to want to do business with you. And we have to sort of get ourselves ready for that. So I hope I've given you some information to think about. And sorry, it was a little bit quicker than I thought it was going to be.